Welcome back to another week of On the Couch, and today we're going to talk about, lending. It's always there, right? It's one of the pyramids. It's got to be there somewhere.
Yeah, well, you need to know what's going on with the money, right? So no one's going to go and buy a $500,000 house in cash. Well, some people will, but like at the end of the day, most of us are going to go to the banks. We're going to get our money from the banks, and they're going to basically pay for the house for us. And I'm going to pay you back over the next 30 years.
Absolutely. So there's been a bit of a change in lending. So lending policies, obviously they're always changing and moving, and they get sort of feedback from APRA and I say pressure from APRA and stuff like that to kind of go certain ways to make sure that, hey, we're building a sustainable environment with going into credit practices, right?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Dan, take it away.
Yeah, pretty much. And like this one really nails down at the investment world, right? So basically what's happened is APRA said, we want to limit high risk lending from our perspective. And they've said, banks, from now on, the maximum you can have for lenders who borrow more than a 6-to-1 debt to income ratio is 20% of your portfolio. So what I mean by that is if you earn $100,000 a year, then the most you can borrow is $600,000 a year, because then your debt would be 6 times what your income is, which is $600,000 there. So basically the banks turned around and said, APRA's turned around to the banks and said, for those guys that want to get above that 6-to-1 ratio, the maximum of your portfolio can be 20%. And for me, I sort of look at it too, mate, and I go, how many people are actually really getting into that space that they're super complicated in structures and what assets they're holding and where they're sitting and everything like that? How many people does this really affect? And are we even at that 20% ratio yet? I question whether we're actually seeing that, or it's a bit of a toothless tiger, I suppose, almost.
Yeah, and it's not limiting investment land or anything. When I say, well, it is, but it's not stopping it, right? They're just being more selective on how it is actually being applied. So don't feel like, oh no, you can't go get an investment property or anything like that. They're just like anything, as rules come into play and things get expanded on, because in the end, you're having these rules put in, and then you're having banks, which are they're their own businesses in the end, how they actually take that and then roll it into their own policies.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, whenever a new rule comes into place, someone finds a brilliant way to get around it.
Pac-Man 101.
Yeah, and use it to their best advantage, right? And that's what everyone's going to do, is they're going to go, sweet, excellent new rule. How do I beat this to make it better for me and therefore get a better position into the market?
Yep, absolutely. All right, that's it for this week. See you next week on the couch.